Welcome to Bunny's Designs. This is a live stream with live people, although it is very early in the UK. And it's also recorded for Ustream.tv and YouTube for people to watch at their leisure. I've had a bit of a tidy round, a room change, and I'm going to do a room tour when I get more organised. This was made out of a cornflake packet and wallpaper lining. And I got to a state where I went off art, or not quite went off art, but something happened and I wasn't very happy about fine art. So I made a junk journal. I was feeling a bit despondent, and I was watching a lady called Jenny Belly who was doing junk journals and journaling, which is something that I've never done. I've always had lovely diaries and journals and never been able to write more than 3 days in a row. And so I always thought it's because I was dyslexic, or because I wasn't committed enough, and I used to beat myself up about it all the time. And I still don't know why. I'm just guessing it's because I'm dyslexic and I'm too. They always used to say I was butterfly brained. Can't stick at anything for long enough. And I'm sure my aunt I'm sure my aunt meant it as derogatory, but actually I take it as a compliment. So there we go. So I made it, and the Jenny Belly made a junk journal, and I think it's called a huge junk journal, and she's made it from a box, a cereal box, and this is brown paper, and there is a couple of other videos that I watched where you scrunch up the brown paper, so you basically get your cereal packet and you tuck all the insides in, and that's why there's a lip. And I took them all in, and they're all uneven, but I took them in because that gives this corner, this edge, it's really strong. So you took them all in and glue them in, and then when they're dry, you then turn it over and glue the whole section, and then get your brown paper and glue it, and it has a shiny side and a dull side, depends on what you want. And then you put that onto the wet glued side, and then you can scrunch it, and you get these little folds. And although because they're glued down flat. And then I used quite a cheap. I used the copper one, which I don't know what I've done with now. There's a bronze. I'm pretty sure it was the copper one, and I've just put it in here somewhere. That's the bronze. No, that's the bronze. And then I've got 3 bronzes. Ooh, look at that. Somewhere, not far away. And I was very impressed with this stuff. Very impressed, because it's really shiny. Really shiny. So I bought some rubbing buff, and it's a little tiny pot that's about £6-7. So these were 3 for a £5 or £2.99 each. And most of these I bought a couple at a time, because I've never spent more than a £5 at a time until recently, because I just didn't have the pennies. So I'm a bit of a tight Yorkshire lass. So there's a YouTube video about making a hocus pocus book, and you put the googly eye, and you put the snake down here and make it big, gaudy. And there's a lady called Sea Lemon, SEA Lemon, who does Copic stitching and Japanese binding systems. So there's lots of different places to find out. Sorry, the glare on the car. See, it's only a cheap paint, but it's quite a nice thing. So that you then make your signatures, and mine were made with a little bit of. Let me see if I can get to the. I'll show this the pictures. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 6 signatures, but there's some big spaces because I didn't know what to do. So I mean, there's a huge space in there. In fact, I probably could put another signature in there quite easily. So I made the signatures out of wallpaper. So this is a bit of, I think this is just a bit of paper. Cardboard. I think it's a bit of cardboard. And then I've stuck some paper over the top. Then I've got, this is stuck onto here. And then the next one is wallpaper, which is that one. Is that one? No, they're stuck in there. Oh, I've done a flap for some reason. Don't know how I've done that. So that one's that one. So this one is the next one, and then this one here is brown paper. That's brown paper, and then we've got paper lining. Now in the UK, the paper lining is a couple of pounds. But if you get the really expensive one, it's really thick. It'll take anything you throw at it. And again, it's 99p for the thinnest, and I think it's like 2.99 for the thickest. So I'm going to be making another one of these over the next couple of weeks. Because this was, again, just to get me. And that was what Jenny Belly. So she inspired me to get back. Yes, Sea Lemon, yes, she has some fantastic videos. And again, I stuck things on, and I wanted it to be a mixed media art, but I can't do that. So I got back to my little pen and drawing with my pen and watercolours and playing about. This is my doodle, and then, as I say, this is the copper, cheap copper, but it works lovely on brown paper, and it makes really nice on just this paper lining because it absorbs quite a lot, so it's quite good, and it doesn't really do much to it. And so I got my little rotary pen with the Indian ink and had a bit of a sketchy, and I quite like that, so I might actually do one just for sketching, but a big one. Because I've bought, and I've got this thing about, I bought a Moleskine, a big one, to do my Inktober, and I carried it to Ireland and back, and I never even opened it. I can't use expensive journals, I just can't, I can't do it. So I'm going to have to make myself a cheap and cheerful one, and then hopefully by the end of it, I can get in there and say, right, I can draw and I can put this pen down and get on with it. But I had a mental block for a long time. Now these are printed photocopy papers, and I've just stuck them in. It's photocopy paper. Printed pictures of my aunt's garden. Found them stamps. I've got hundreds of stamps that I've forgotten about, so they'll be being used as well. Again, my little stamps and having a bit of a play, and this was in another journal that I cut out, and again just a drawing, but a stylized drawing of my two girls. There's little Samantha with her straight hair and Amy with the curly hair, and doing silly faces, but it's mainly playing with texture. And this is all cheap acrylics, cheap children's pages, crayons. I don't think that's crayon, but, and I've started to play about with the Posca pens. Again, finding these drawers, I found one or two white pens as a cheap Yorkshire Lass. The Wilco's correction pen is pretty awesome. But I bought this, I haven't used that yet. Oh, that's a stick it thing. So a lot of these I've been using again, because they're cheap and cheerful, I think it's 2 for £1. So that's what I use because I'm a cheap Yorkshire lass. So I was playing about with pens and stylized faces, which is something that I didn't do. A bookcase of my, I think there's about another 50 to go on there now. My medication bookcase. I thought that was quite funny. Plus the fact I can never remember what I actually take. So there we go. Playing with, this is my doodle that I've been doing. So I'm thinking about putting this when I get my web page up and running. These are free downloads for people to just print off and colour in. They'll probably be black and white. Again, playing with that poster paint and acrylic white paint. It's a recurring doodle. This is the other one that I've had since I was 16. So I drew that last night because I just felt that I wanted to sit and do something. And I couldn't do very much with Alfie. So, but again, this thing tears, but I'm not bothered. This is this is a different paint, I think. But I've done all sorts of different things on it that I can't remember. This is just brown acrylic. So I drew that yesterday and that. So I might have a play with those. That's just white. Again, my doodle. I drew this last night. And there's a couple of pages that have nothing on them. I think this looks like it's been gessoed. These are the really cheap, nasty children's colours, but I was having a play. There's a crayon one somewhere, I don't know where that is. And just playing about with, I'm pretty sure this is gesso to see what would happen. And they go quite chunky, and there's a bit of textured stuff on there. Literally just having a real good slapdash play to try and get some backgrounds down. So there's enough things in here, but they are very, very rough and a bit ugly. But there is a bit of something in here. Really don't like a lot of this because it's not me, but I had to go. But I did do this last night and I quite like that. I was playing with just the 4 blue markers that I had. And being Copic, it's gone through. But I actually quite like that on the other side. And again, really, really childish doodling. See, I put those on here and then realised that I could stick the things on the other side. So that's what I did. And I said, this is baby wipes when they've dried, when you've mopped up your colours. And again, that's another Jenny Belly idea. So, again, this is just crayons. Really, these are the really cheap in a pound set for toddlers to play about with. Markers, a bit of stamping. Oh, on the outside, I've put the patterned wallpaper. Must have been a plain white one, just for a bit of texture. That's in each signature, I think. This is just plain paper, so it will take an ink pen quite nicely and not go through. So you can have a real good old play about. And it could be an ideas book, so you can play about with colour and ideas and then take it a step further. Now, I did a few pages in the other book and used photocopy paper as between the pages. And you end up with some really unusual kind of windows. And again, Jenny Burley idea, didn't want to waste them, so I just sellotaped them really roughly in here. And this gets chucked about, this book. It's been all over the country. It does get chucked about. And again, there's a couple more I've put in the back. Because its colour, its texture, it's in there. And then that's the back cover. So I thought, because I've not played for a while, I'm out of practice, I'll go through and make sure that every page has got some kind of colouring on it, because that's going to lead me to this book here, which will be part 2 that I covered yesterday, and it was a novel, but I just loved the size, and I thought, ooh, yes, it's going to be a really nice junk journal. So I've done a few, and again they're crayons. I've done a few pages. Not really enamoured with them at all, but you know, they're done. So what I was going to do was at the back, and I quite haven't decided, I'm going to work the and I haven't written it down, and I'm dyslexic, so that's not good. The Nano Jomo 30 days, and I got some glue on it yesterday, so that's going to be a bit interesting. But one thing I can't do in any books is pull pages out. So there's 822 there with a few extra. So this is going to be extremely chunky. Oh, thank you, Sandy. Thank you. She's up. But it's all Jenny Belly, a recycling. She's the recycling queen. As Dee Dee's the queen of stream, Jenny Belly is the queen of recycle and repurpose. And also, I owe her a lot because she got me back into art, because when certain things happen, art goes out the window, as I say. I did tell my husband when I finished my art degree that if he saw me pick a pencil up, he had to break all my fingers. I was so depressed. So it's taken me a lot, and it was Jenny Belly's little book, Scribbly Pants, here that got me going, and got me making books as well. And also Kathy Orter. Kathy Orter was one of the first people that I watched, and she made, this is one of her first ones. These are all Tissot books. I'm obsessed by James Tissot. So they're all Victorian-y type, and I made it so it looked like it was hundreds of years old. It's got little tags, and I think this was her original paper bag. It's made with paper bags, but love the colours. And these letters here are my daddy's writing to my mum, because he was in Burma during the war. It's let me write down Jenny Belly, because I can't. Just bear with me 2 seconds. I'll write it down. It's L-I-E at the end. Pen. Let me have a look. I think it's that's it. That looks quite right to me. Jenny Belly. All one word. And she's on Facebook as well, but I first saw her. Oh, hi, Card Chick. Welcome to Bunny's Designs. Hope everybody's well this morning. And so she's the lady with the book that got me back into got my mojo back. And I made one of her. And I hate to admit that. I'll tell you in a minute. So I made this as well, because I got back into with the sea lemon. I got really into the Copic stitch Japanese, so I made this little book as well, and that's made out of complete rubbish and photocopy paper. All this is photocopy paper, and all these designs are mine. All these are original, and I own them, so I can sell them because I own them. I made all the designs myself. And there's another one that I did as well. Oh, I don't know where that one is. With all Victorian things in. And then I found this on eBay, which is a Victorian it's a Victorian photo album, so that's why I was sketching all these photo albums. And I've opened it upside down, and it has all the photographs in. So of course all these photographs, and of course when you pull them out, they're really a bit difficult to get out. To pick one that I can get out. It's not completely full, but there's quite a few photographs in here. And I'm pretty sure that I can't get them out now, but there's some gorgeous things on the back. Oh, I'll get that one out. Oh, that happens to be a plain one. Oops. Alfie's moaning. That one might come out a little bit better, maybe. I'll have to stick that one. Oh, that's interesting. I don't know how I've done that. It's got quite damp in here. It must be very damp in this room. That's why I had to move everything round. Oh, they all come out the bottom, you silly girl. And I'm just hoping, you see on the back, how beautiful are those? They're very ornate. And I'm going to make one very similar to this, I think. Very similar. I'm going to make one like this. But what I did is I photocopied it and I stuck little bars across. And again, I think this is Jenny. No, this isn't Jenny Belly. This is if you look on YouTube about bookbinding. But there's another. Yes, I think it might be Sea Lemon. And she made. You put the edges in. You put pieces of card in. And then you build them into the spine. And that's just a photocopy of this. And then I just blackened it and varnished it. And then I photocopied them all, and I put little pearls around this one. This is a Laura Ashley wallpaper, which I had a roll left of it. They're all photographed. And then I have another book which it has got Victorian things in it, household things mainly, but it's all copy free. So I started making all these. So all these are my pages they're my designs. And this is my daddy's letter that he wrote to my mummy. So I've got about 50 of his and about 30 of hers. And it does say, darling, I hope you get the parcel. Oh, that might be one of my mum's, because obviously she sent parcels. Yes, darling, I would like another photo of you, something. So again, a little bit personal, but quite small, so you can't read it. But I just loved my daddy's writing and my mum's writing. So I made all these pages, and then a lady called can't think of her name, tip of my tongue, but I made these a long time ago, and then a lady brought out a section with these balloons and things in, and then I saw she'd moved with her husband, and her husband does something as well, and she has a whole range of these types. So and this is in the back of one of my great aunt's 1907 books. It's got February 1910, but it's in the back of one of her sketchbooks. And then that's my old typewriter that I was bought when I was a little girl. And these are A4 size, and I've reduced them down, so they just make really nice backgrounds. But I quite like this, and it's basically, I can't think of the lady's name. Goodness gracious me. And she did Yellow Roses. One's called Yellow Roses. And I watched another lady called A Pocket Full of Vintage, and there's another lady that does a lot of tea dyeing. Oh, Obsessed by Books or something like that. Oh my goodness, my brain. And she bought the book, and all you do is you wrap it around with stitching. It's very easy to make. So it's basically an A4 size, and each one's a pocket. Everyone's a pocket. I pulled out all the tags that I had in them. So everyone's a white photocopy, and I just tea stained it. So everyone's a pocket. And I can't remember the lady's name. Oh, thank you, Card Chick. Thank you. And all you do is you just wrap around the thread on each one. And now she brings out a lot of her own things. This lady that did the balloons and the Victorian thing. She must have the same book I have. That's my dad's RAF overseas, and it tells you about the Mediterranean, the medals, and the commanders. So you've got, oh, I can't read that one. But there you've got something commander. It's in his RAF book. There, he's talking about RAF history. He's had to write that down. So I've got a few of his books, and then these are things that I've taken out of this Victorian thing and put on my dad's ledger. These are the back of the Victorian photographs. So in the back of these are some gorgeous, creative French photographers. So it's some really pretty, ornate art photographers. I haven't got it on automatic focus. Sometimes they've got a date on, and sometimes they haven't. This is my 1907, again, my great aunt's writing when she was little, which is beautiful, really, really pretty. From Scotland by the Viot Hills. Yorkshire is the largest county, and they're writing about England. Okay, so each one's a pocket. I didn't tea dye the inside. And there's a map she's drawn of England in 1907 at school. These are adverts that were in these 1900-something books, and then the rest of them I just made up. Again, my daddy's writing. I made them in the same way, and I thought these made fantastic stamps. Again, these are the backs. This is photocopied on a big piece of paper and then reduced down and tea stained. These are the backs of these Victorian photographs in the book. Oh no, I tell a lie. It says tortoiseshell and silver card cases. So I've photocopied the pictures, and I've done hundreds actually. Again, that's just a photograph, a straight photocopy on photo paper, tea stained, and then folded in half, and then folded in half again, so you get your pocket. So instead of folding the A4 one way, you just fold it across, and then tattered and battered. But that's my little book that I make, so I got quite obsessed by making books. And I made another one and I can't find it. I don't know what I've done with it. But lots of pockets and bows and pockets. And again, I've put my daddy's things in there. And this was very cheap black. I think it's supposed to paint, but it's quite matte and quite rough. Again, darling, don't. Letter names, I wish letters. I don't read all of them because, you know, it's between man and wife in 1942 to 1944. But I did read that my daddy loved books, and I didn't know that till after he died. And he said he was allowed to go into Calcutta, and he found a bookshop. And he was obsessed and had to buy another book. And I didn't know that he was obsessed by books. And I'm obsessed by books. So one day I'll probably read all the letters and see. There's nothing much in them, but you know, it's between my mum and my dad. So. But really enjoyed making these books and making pockets, and I got all these little envelopes, and again using scraps. That's very much into my tight Yorkshire lass. So, and again, this is all stemmed from this Victorian book. So I've got quite a lot of pages that I can put on my website for people to download and tea stain and then make pages if they wanted to. So I didn't know if people would do that. If I just Google this lemon thing, I might be able to say the lady's name, because I do like to say, because I got a bit upset and a bit despondent last night because I saw somebody that had bought some paints and started watercolouring and bought the exact, oh, it's just me, and I thought, well, thanks, pal. But I suppose, right, what did I say that's called? It's lemon paper series. Oh, it keeps going off. I have to turn it off at night because it just goes on and on and on. Oh, thank you. I just hope for oh, I'm on the wrong thing. I don't want to be on there. I want to be on there. I just thought I'd have a quick look and see if I could find this, because again, she has some. She made that little book. Wish I could remember. It's not Rose, but she did a Rose series, and she's got stamps and all sorts. Rose book. Pocket book. But pocket full of vintage. See if it will do this. Bear with me. I was watching live. Oh, it's gone onto there now. So see if I can find download. I think it was only something like $6, so it wasn't particularly expensive. I wish I could remember the girl's name. I've got a memory like a sieve. If I do images, it might come into images. But it shows you how to make the pocket binding by just wrapping. You open a page and you put a book in it, a page in it, and then you wrap your thread round, and then you close it and you open another page and you wrap it round, and I can't remember what it's called. That's what I want to, because it's a really quick and easy. There's no sewing, it's not hard on your hands, and I thought it was a yellow rose, but I'm sure we'll come across it in a minute. It was in the steampunky kind of tea stainy kind of start. It's going to drive me insane because I'm not going to remember. I'll have a look for it before I finish. So that it's good to have a look at YouTube. And if I just do this for 2 seconds, if I just look up tea staining, that will give that will definitely give us the lady. And that's not the book. Oh, Paper Obsession. Paper Obsession? I can't remember what she's called. Is it Paper Obsession? But I'm going back maybe 4 years. Sorry about that. I'm desperate to show you because then you can see. Is anybody else? Oh, what on earth was she called? It was the Paper Addiction. So if you go on the Paper Addiction on YouTube, one of the first, this is what it is. This it's like the oh no, one of the first videos she ever made was, and I wonder if it's still there. So if you have a look at a pocket full of vintage, and also the Paper Addiction on YouTube, that's the lady that she downloaded this book that you could buy, and you print the pages off, and then you can she shows you how to bind it. Very easy. Sorry about that bit of a rabbit dropping. Right, so because I like making those books, I have to dump those there, so it could be another one. I can't find, and I haven't got my glasses on this morning. I'll show you this really quickly. I can actually get up. I'm not going anywhere else. I can get up and walk slightly. Still not the book. I wanted to show. So I've made quite a few books. I can actually see lots of things. And this is another book that's ready to be, the spine made on it. It's teals and tea dyes and things. And there's a wonderful thing when you tea dye things. They go crinkly, and these lines are from the oven, because I have a fan assisted oven, and I have a system of doing hundreds of pages in about an hour. I tea stain them and I put them in the top row, and I pinch the other 2 racks. So I've got 6 racks in the oven, and the oven door is open but it's on full, and I put them in, and then I rotate them and I turn them over as they go, and I get the lines from the oven. But it means you can do hundreds at a time. You just have to keep it in a conveyor belt, and then when it dries around the edges but soggy in the middle, I turn it over and put it at the bottom, and I put a wet new one at the front, and I have the wet tray with all the coffee and the tea on the oven door, and I just keep doing that for hours on end, and then they're thrown all over the kitchen. The children wondered what on earth I was doing. And then you make the signatures. You make the signatures of, so many. But it's quite funny when you have the lines on them, especially if they're not straight. But I still like them. But the other thing is you get that gorgeous, crinkly, vintagey paper that you can't get with anything else. And then, of course, you do it with books and all sorts. So that set me off to make this for my daughter's 21st. So it's some book rings. Now I did have a lot more on it, but I pinched it because I've taken a lot of things off it. So this was Hattie 21st, but it's actually for a name, Heather Ann Turner. And I had lots of bling and a key and old necklaces that she didn't take with her. And this is actually a very large bobble with a clip. And I've used it as a closure, but I've also got these ribbons for a closure as well. And again, there's pockets and flips and things dangling. And I really like and lots of stamps. And she's a shoe girl. So there's little pockets with things in, and flaps and tags and things. Happy birthday. And I just thought, and I love this one because it's really easy to make. And they're all made out of one page. There's twisty things. So I loved making this. I have to say. And then there's photographs of her when she was a little girl. And this one was made with, and I nearly said the name there, and little things that I've got bling that you can put pockets in. Everyone's a pocket and everyone's a flip, and then in each one there's a photograph of when she was a little girl. So, and she's a black and white girl, so all sorts of things in it. But I love making things like this. And I bought this from Marks and Spencer's for a couple of pounds, but it was perfect to put it in. So I'm a bit obsessed about making books. Then I made a sketchbook and used old things to put on it and made it out of card. And put watercolour paper in it, and it's mainly photographs, photo paper, but there's envelopes and all sorts of things. These must be tags. I've made some big tags to do black and white. I thought I could do black and white photographs. I haven't been in here for ages. There's all sorts of things in here. But I love making books with huge pockets and things. And butterfly, broken earrings. I think they're dangling on the ends there. Look, that's what they're doing. And then of course I like the bow ribbon closures. So that's a black and white sketchbook. And then I've made this one out of, it was a fairy book, but I love the colours. It's a Disney one, I think, so I've made pockets, stuck ribbons in. It's made out of paper bags, you can put things in. And there's pockets, I think that's upside down actually. And each one's a big pocket to put things in, and that's duct tape, and that's got rubbing buff on it, that one. So I haven't done very much with that, again, not finished, so there's lots of things that I want to get back to now. That's a Halloween one which I've started, again made out of paper bags. We can't get paper bags in the UK very easy, so I had to take the handles off them all, so they've all got like a bit of a tear here because they all had handles on them, so I had to take all the handles off. And that's just made with duct tape. It was an experiment. And I've grunged everything up. And that's made with a Halloween box. So it's quite sturdy, is that one. And again, it's duct tape, so that is not going to go anywhere. That's it now. I can't find the one I really wanted to show. I have no idea what I've done with it, but it's I'd forgotten I'd made it actually, so I'll probably find it. I'm finding all sorts. I'm having a clean round and a move round, and I'm finding all sorts of things. So back to this book. I'm going to start now. So it's going to lead me into some backgrounds. Put that somewhere safe. So, back to here, and I wonder if it's just dropped a smidgen. I'll just put that up a little bit. I've just moved it live, I shouldn't have done. I was just showing the Alf, who's not, oh, his eyes are open, but he's not, when I said Alf, his eyes moved. So I found a couple of pages with nothing on them. So I haven't played for a long time, so I thought I'd pick out, I think there's about 6 pages that have nothing, no backgrounds at all. It's just bare paper. That's got white acrylic on it. So these two don't have anything. Unless I may have gessoed those. Yes, I think I've gessoed it. but I'm not particularly bothered about that, so I'm going to put that into there, because I want some colour on it, and then this book's done, and then that might, when I've done these 6 or 7 pages, it might inspire me to make another one. But it's mainly to get me into this, so I can start doing some more pages. So the poster paint is a bit rough, but the acrylics, these cheapy acrylics, tend to give a nice kind of a good solid base instead of gessoing first. So that's going to go through there. So what I want to do now is, I found these, and it does say, oh, there's the copper one, look, it's looking at me. It does say fine artist quality. Well, I don't think so. Oh, I've just realised I know what else I've got as well. I've got these to play with. Oh no, I might play with these. I could play with these, because I can take those with me if I decide to do this. Now, I haven't got any water, so I'll have to go get a water pot. Just want to see what the colours are. And I can't really remember what I did, so if I play with half a dozen, then that might give me a bit of an insight of technique again, because I'm so out of practice. So I'll just do this page, and then I'm not going to put the hairdryer on because Alfie's behind me and he doesn't particularly like the hairdryer. But what I do is I'm using a baby wipe, and I'm going to keep the baby wipe. So I'm going to start, there's probably too much on there actually, but I'm going to kind of go in with this colour. And again, this is quite easy. I don't want to do anything, big paintbrush, too dramatic, too kind of rough on the fingers and hands, because I had to sit with Alfie yesterday, and he's demanding at the best of times, bless him. So so that's going to be kind of paler, and this is going to be thick, so I might go back to this bit. Let's see, I'll just put maybe a bit onto there. Try to make it a little bit random if possible, because random backgrounds are not as random as they seem to be. And there's something nice about dark edges, I have to say. So I'm just kind of doing this, and the idea is, if I do a whole book of this, I can then take it with me with felt pens or something else. And the other thing is, I've done it then, because messing about like this is not particularly good for my hands. But once it's done, that should be fine. And then if I take the other bit, I can just kind of now, I don't like that as much as doing it with the finger, but it's just a bit kind of. But I've forgotten the water pot today, so I'll just do this and see what happens. And I'm not really particular, because all I'm trying to do is get rid of what would normally be stark white. Obviously it's not, it's off-white, in giving this wallpaper, this cheap paper liner, a bit of a, not particularly a key, but just giving it a coating of something. that's a bit more substantial than water paper, because it doesn't have it's a bit absorbent, so you wouldn't trust it with lots and lots of things. But it stands up to quite a good, it just stands up quite well. So it's not kind of very artistic. But again, this is what I love about this journal. It's just kind of get it in there. Just get on with it. Just squish paint around. And that's the beauty of the Jenny Bellies videos. Is just get in there, have a go, and kind of just go for it. And I like that idea. So I have this now, which I will dry. I'll just see if I can just kind of smush something else in there. Depends how I want to do it. Maybe it's a bit too uniform, that. So I'll drape that now. Over one of the lamps. Not where it'll catch fire though. And then it will be used, because I do have 2 or 3 lamps that I can do that with. So that page is done now. And somewhere I have 2 of the said dried. No, come on. And you can stick all sorts of things in here, which is quite good. So if I give that just a few minutes, it's almost dry. It's almost dry. So it's just a background. It's just to get some kind of colour in there. I don't particularly like it, but I'm just trying to think, well, how I did the others. They're quite thin, those. I think that's the turquoisey blue, isn't it? I haven't got a lot of bright colours. Blue and greens were quite nice. But again, it's just a play. It's just to get some colour in there. And you might find there's something that you really like that you can take somewhere else. I quite like that. I like the colours. And that was because I was sat with Alfie. Now, there's nothing on this page apart from marker. And there's nothing on this page. There's no key. There's nothing. This is what the paper looks like. This is the thin paper. And it's gone through, but actually I quite like that. So it was quite nice to play with markers. See if that's dried. So my thought would be to do that one and then go on to the other one, but I suppose I could leave that in the middle and go do another one. I could do that. It is almost dry. Oh, I've shut it, look, and I've got some little dots. I've got some little misshapes in between. It's a bit strange. As I say, I don't really want to put the hairdryer on the little mat, because the little man's there and he's sleeping. So it's going to be difficult, because I don't think he's going to be. If I swing the camera around to here, no, we can't see him. I've shown him once today. We're getting a bit oopsie. But there's little Alfie. He's asleep now. So he's doing quite well, bless him. Considering. So we think there's going to be a big large dint in this lorry. Because there's no dint in Alfie. So, but I presume that in a couple of days, when he's settled down, he's not going to want to stay in that bed. He's going to want to be walking about, and he's not allowed to walk about for a good 3 or 4 weeks. because he's got 2 hairline fractures on his spine, on his pelvis. So it's a little bit sticky. So I do have, I just put that between. I don't know if it'll do any damage, but again, this is pence making this big book. So we'll just see what else there is. That actually has a key on it, does that one? So just that one, that's a bit shiny. That one doesn't, and I don't like it, and I don't like that. They're the children's ones. Oh, that's what I was going to show. I don't know which one I've done it with. Let me have a look, see if I can find one. Nope. It won't be a shiny one, that's for sure. That looks, oh, that's got a key on it. That's quite pale. This doesn't have a key, and I don't really like this, so let's get rid of this. I don't really like it. But what I was going to show is these were a pack, I think for £1 or so, in the children's section. In fact, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I love poster paint, and it's cheap and cheerful. I'm going to use those acrylics for the next stage, which is stamping and I pulled a tray out yesterday. I found all these that I'd forgotten about. These stamps and things. So I think I'll use these with those other acrylics and letter stamps as well. I'm going to use those in the next stage. I'm going to stick with the cheap poster paints. I think that's how to do it. That's what I'm going to do, I think. So if I just, oops, shake that and just put a little bit of that on there. And the beauty of this is the kids can be in the same room and play with the same paints, and you don't have to hide them. Whoopsie, I've been in that one for a while. So. And then I think the trick is the baby wipe. There's 2 there. It's the trick. That's what makes my hands sore. Yes, he has. He's moved his legs, hasn't he? Sandy saw him this morning, so yeah, he's moved a little bit. But that's going to be the problem with him. I won't. In theory, it'd be lovely to sit here like I normally do, but I'm pretty sure I won't be able to because I think I put too much in there. Yeah, I think I put too much paint in there. So he's moved a little bit, and he's awake. He's listening to me. He's resting, shall we say? I think. I kind of like these colours a little bit better. Probably, maybe not mixed, but there's something about daubing paint on things that's quite childish but quite freeing. And as I was thought that I would still see those patterns underneath. And it's not brilliant, but it's, it is what it's just kind of getting another coating on there. And this poster paint is very dull, so it's quite nice. Now this is quite blue. again, I've got a really bluey background, and just by putting that across, it's got some quite nice green. And this one's almost dry now. And you might think, ooh, well, don't like that, but again, I should really let that dry. But a bit further on, I don't think there's many pages. Now these are the dried out. I hope you can see them, but they feel really tactile. And again, Jenny Belly's idea, a long time ago, I was still at college, so maybe 5 years ago, definitely 5 years ago, maybe more, when I started watching us. It's a long time. A long time. So just swizzle around with that a bit. But you can even take that back because it's got quite a lot of colour in it, and just we're happy with it. In fact, I've just had an idea. I don't know what's going to happen because that's still wet, but I may just see if I can just take this, because there's a lot of colour still on here. Look, and just give it a bit of a, I mean, you don't have to, you can just go up and down, you don't have to do in swells. It's just to get that stark colour off, and give some kind of background. Now this, I don't think it has a coating. So now that green has mixed with the blue, so I've got a coating. See, I'll just do it with one flat colour. That'd be quite good. If I just put that there and that there. This is how I came up with all those little things. It just protects it and gives it a bit of a, and that sometimes is nicer, not to have too much paint. If I put too much paint on, less is more. It's just giving it a little bit of a, quite a dull background, but it's just giving it a bit of a something. And sometimes these are quite dull and quite nice to have. And again, you start with this shape now. I mean, that's a little bit of a plain thing, but actually if you put that over there, you have another texture. And you, if you want to be, I suppose you could be a little bit more creative with it if you wanted. I'll take another one and just... But the beauty of poster paint is it just wipes straight off, so that's brilliant. And it washes out of kids' clothes, which is another good way of doing it. You shouldn't really wipe your hands on your top, but I've got an old art top on, so that's quite good. And it's nearly dry, so you don't need a hairdryer or anything. And let's have a look what happened here. Nothing much. Take that out of there now. Because it's poster paint. Acrylics might have stuck a little bit, but it's poster paint. I don't think I like this either. It's rather childish. I don't think I like those. There's a lot I don't like in here. But again, I've played in here, so now I can go in there and think what I like and what I don't like. So I think there's just a couple more pages that haven't been covered. And that must have been glitter paint. Again, that's a thinner brown wash, that one, that's a thicker one. these are, you can tell the different acrylics, but again, a bit of a play. That's what I wanted to do in here, is just slap backgrounds down and then the next section. So this has got nothing on it, and then you've got these here. So I can just put this in here. And because it's blue, I can just possibly use this to just get rid of that starkness around. And it's probably going to be covered over, but it's just to give it that little bit of and of course tight Yorkshire lass, getting quite a lot of paint out of this baby wipe. Although I must admit, even I'm not that precious with them. But it's just given that little bit of an edge on that one. So it's quite unusual, is that page now, and different textures. And again, I quite like the idea of having this on here. Now, it depends what type of baby wipe you've got. Some of them are stretchy and some of them aren't. But when that's dried, I might put that onto there. Now, it looks a little bit darker than it is. I might actually just stretch it across there, I think I might do. I'm going to dry it first, so it's quite nice, bit of a pattern on there. And again, I've got this other one that's poster paint, just wipes off. Acrylic's not that easy to get off well, so I quite like the poster paint. And that's probably dry now. It's a little bit damp, but I'm not going to do anything else with it. I really don't like that, so let's see if I can get rid of this. Again, it's playing with things that I didn't really like. So we'll have a red one opposite there, I think. Oops. And you don't have to use a thingy one to play. I mean, again, this is cheap poster paint, so you know, I've got bright red on there now. And this is brown paper, just packing paper, wrapping paper. And I quite like it that much. I'm going to go over that one because I don't like that one either. So I hope that's in focus. I wonder if the light's just that little bit kind of in your face. I hope not. I actually like that pattern better now. I think it looks a little bit better, and it's also matched up with the red on the other side. And again, there's something quite freeing about playing, because it's just not in my nature to be this slapdash. So again, it's a bit bright, but you know, there's going to be all sorts of things on there, all sorts of layers and things. So, oops, I didn't put the camera back where it was supposed to be. That's probably why we're a bit brighter. So that's going to dry. He's looking around already. What are you looking for? Hello, darling. What are you looking for? You want a drink? Just while that's drying, I'll just see if he wants a drink. I've not had a drink yet today. Come on. Good boy. Good boy. Come on. Come on, you can do it yourself. Come on. This is a bit of an acrylic finger. Yeah. Oh, you did it. There it is. It's right next to you. Oh, come on. Come on. That's it. Good boy. There's a good boy. No, don't stop. Oh, you had enough? There's a good boy. There's a good boy. I've got a dribbly bit there now. There's a good boy. Dribbly bear. You have a snuggle? Good boy. Sorry about that. He's got to be, as I say, I don't think he's going to be like that for the next few weeks. I'd like to think he is, but I don't think he I'm pretty sure he won't be, so we're not going to be able to stream with him. It's going to have to be a restraining order on him. He's going to have to be restrained down because he'll want to be off skid. And he's not allowed to be off skid. Although the vet says he'll learn not to move, but again, we can't risk him moving too much because he does have 2 hairline fractures, so there's got a bit of purple and a bit of pink in there. Again, that'll go on the top maybe. Anything, because that's a bit boring, so you could put that over the top if you wanted. I'm just going to go in there, just. So, got another one hanging there. They dry very quickly, these, the baby wipes, so that's quite good. I'm not sure about that. I like the lines on that, but it's okay. So I've done that, so I've done most of them now. Let me have a look. I might find another one. And then, because I've started with these edges like this, eventually you'll end up with something like this. And I threw a lot away and I sort of thought, well, I quite like those. Again, not like me, extremely messy, but I quite like them. So I decided just a bit of sellotape and stick them in. And it's not precious because it's made of rubbish, and I think, or not quite rubbish, but it's not made with anything that's too precious, and so you can kind of really go for it. You see, I like that page a lot better now. I didn't like the childish swirls, but I quite like them under there. I like this one that I did yesterday, but I don't like that one. So I'm going to put a piece of paper between. And I'm going to scribble over that one, I think. And I think I've got, oops, that's a bit red, it's not dried. But that should wipe off because it's acrylic. So I have a yellow. Although that's a blue, isn't it? So, and I have a different blue. So these are just cheap poster paints, kids poster paints. So if I don't put as much on, I can use this baby wipe, and it's nearly the same blue. So I'll finish this page, and then I'm going to go on to the Nano Moju Mo. Oopsie. Again, I don't like those images, but I can get rid of them. So. I quite like that blue next to the other blues. Has anybody got any questions? It's a bit of a... I'm not being sparing because I don't think I'm just being sparing because I don't quite want it as thick. And I've actually got it on the other side, which I probably didn't want, but it matters really. That's the beauty of this, you know, if you did that in your... just do have a problem squeezing things. So I tend to put things in smaller bottles, so... I mean, that's extremely rough, very quick, and it's almost dried. But I think I like the colour slightly better. I'm just wondering whether I should go over this with a colour. I've started it now. Are you having a bit of a moan, Alfie Pants? Yeah, there's nothing on this beforehand, so I'll just maybe give a bit of a background to kind of mask that stark white. And I don't think the Copics will go anywhere. It's just getting rid of that. There's a bit on there, so I can actually squish this about. And that blue has disappeared, so I'm just going to clean that. Partly because I'm a tight Yorkshire lass, but partly because it will stick up the top for next time. So, and there's a lot of blue in that. I'm not being particularly a tight Yorkshire lass with this, so that's quite good for me. As I say, if you've got your expensive paints, you don't want to be squeezing these out on here, but poster paint and kids paint is quite good. It's still colour. You can go over it with, which I intend to do, with the other acrylics when I do a stencil. And almost got that down there. So if Alfie behaves himself and just sits quietly, which is good for him and it's good for me because it keeps me out of trouble, I can carry on streaming like I normally do early on most days. It's just, so I quite like that. It's just taken that little bit. I use baby wipes because they're cheap, they're wet, and they manoeuvre paint really well and they don't disintegrate. So that's why I use them, and I've always used them. So there's some really nice colours on there actually, which, you know, could go over there, or and I don't like this, so I've got a choice. I don't really like that. So, Julie, moving over. You're having a bit of a moan. Alfie having a moan. Actually, I suppose if I'd have done that, I might use that baby wipe actually, I think. Just want it a bit thicker. Again, I can't get too messy in case. Again, you see, you can do all sorts with a baby wipe. If you're using traditional watercolours, I wouldn't use a baby wipe. I would use, and I've done that there, so I shouldn't have done that. I would use kitchen roll. Now, it hasn't got it all off, but it's helped a smidgen. It's helped a little bit. And I've got a variation on my baby wipe. I love messing with poster paints. I love messing about with poster paints. Right, so that's going to dry. It might be a little bit. Again, you know, I'm going to go a long way to cover those nasty children's squiggles up with, but I'm sure I will. But that's got rid of that, so it's okay. Again, I can use that before it dries and get rid of some of this. Oh, just... Well, that's good, except for you sitting on the... Look what he's done. Now, this is what we've got to stop him doing, but... He's got up and turned round. Did you not enjoy that, Alfie? He's just turned round. He looked like he needed turning, so I'm going to have to keep an eye on doing that. Right, just bear with me 2 seconds. I just need to... Yeah, what am I going to do with him doing that? Because we don't really want him doing that, really. Just bear with me 2 seconds. I'm hanging these baby wipes on here. Now you've got that on the bottom end now, haven't you? You don't really know where the poop is. Ready? Oh, no. You stay where you are. 1, 2, 3. Alfie, just stay where you are. That's it. Let's just see if we can get that on there. That's it. You can have a diddle now. You're going to stay that way around. Okay. Oh. Right. I'm sure he should be turning round, but it's difficult to keep a dog in one spot. Oopsie, got this wire now. I haven't quite organised the camera in its right place yet, but I'm working on it. So, it's a bit better than it was. I don't really like that bright yellow, but yeah, I can tone it down. These are rather pale, but I can do all sorts with them. But again, it's really nice just to play about. It is really nice. I'm just going to pop that one in there. I think I've probably... Again, I really don't like that, but... if I used a different acrylic, got a different red actually, that might work quite nicely. Now I need a sponge for this. It's so nice to find things all over the place. So I'll just do this, and then I'll go back into the Mojo one because I want to get it going. Oh, wrong place. Wrong place. I moved the drawers. I'm going to put some more drawers in front of me, and then I can reach out. I don't have to get up. Right. I need... Oops, right. So in here somewhere, maybe. So the inside of that is dirty, but the outside isn't. So I'm going to put that on there. And then I've kind of got a bit of a... So I can kind of... I don't know what this is going to look like, but we'll have a bit of a play. So this is the bit more expensive, a couple of pounds, acrylics. But still nothing to break the bank, and you know, there's months supply in there. So again, that tight Yorkshire lace, I quite like that. Has anybody got any questions? I'm not quite sure how you tie a dog down when he wants to go off, but we're going to have a... He normally sits with me most of the time anyway. It's just if the cat walks in or postman arrives. Talking of which, 11 o'clock, postman alert. Quite enjoying myself actually. And again, there's no thought to this at all, it's just kind of, yeah, go on then, off we go. And that's just given me enough to do that, that's quite good. Again, I don't know what colour it was, it's not very, oh, you can see it, yes you can. And then if I put that one down here, we can have reverse. Kind of reverse. Wipe it off. I think I prefer it the other way, so we'll see. Nothing came out, so we'll do it again. I quite like that. I quite like that. Okay, it's so messy here. And I can't see what I'm doing because I've got all these laying about now. All these baby wipes. Like washing line. So if I just get a little bit more of that one out. Which I think it was this one, wasn't it? Has anybody got any questions? No. I haven't played for a long time, so I want to do this so that when I go back into this other one, I'm not going to make a pig zero of it. Even though, you know, it's a 50p or 10p actual journal. But what I was going to do is just get some backgrounds and then maybe get some backgrounds doing, so then I can do a little bit of drawing and a little bit of journaling and actually start journaling for the first time. properly, with some meaning, instead of just a bit of a rant and a bit of a rave. So I might just get, if I overlap it, I'll just get another, again I should have just, so I plan to put Alfie under the white drawing board table. Right, so I quite like that. I'm still getting away from that pattern behind, but you can't, you can only just see it now. So what I might do is just put that there and then see what happens when I do that, because I've got some more now. It's not quite going to fit there, so I think I could just do put that underneath. Can I do a random one? So the pages kind of match a bit. Sometimes you don't know just how much paint you've got until you squidge. Oh, quite enjoy myself. Again, this is because it's quite kind of loose. It kind of lends itself to being, and it's poster paint, so it can dry on there and then it can just be kind of wiped off. So again, I like that idea too. In fact, I can do it with a baby wipe, and then I've got a pink one. So that's freed me up a little bit to get me into using the other one now. So we've wet that, and I'm going to go back in with this nearly dry one now and just pick up colour. So there's not going to be a lot of colour going down the drain, messing up the sink. Oopsie. Just need cleaning there, so let's leave that there. And so that was quite a good exercise, although it was a bit kind of messy. That was a good exercise because it's freed me to put things on top of each other that I probably wouldn't have done. So I'll stop this video and then I'll start another one with the Mojo. So thank you for watching.